I've never heard Steph Curry in the conversation as the best player in the world. That would happen to be Kawhi Leonard. By the way, we keep pointing out the fact that Kawhi Leonard insisted on leaving San Antonio, and he's in Toronto now. Let's keep in mind that Kawhi Leonard wanted out of San Antonio. San Antonio were not scrubs. They were going to the postseason, but somehow, some way, if what Molly said earlier is correct, that obviously winning was a priority, then why would you want to leave? Because you thought you couldn't win in San Antonio. So here you come to the Eastern Conference. Your first year here, you get to the finals. Everybody and their grandmama knows that the road to prosperity is far easier in the Eastern Conference than it has been in the Western Conference. Oh, by the way, getting back to Steph Curry, 3-time champion, 2-time league MVP, universally recognized as the greatest shooter we have ever seen in our lifetime, who has never been a part of the greatest player in the world conversation. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Not the greatest player in the world. The greatest shooter in the world, not the greatest player.
There was a minute when we thought he was going to take over from LeBron. That one season, remember?
The popularity because of his ability to shoot the ball. But in terms of looking at his skill set and what he could do on both ends of the floor, which Max never has. Hold on. Which goes to we're talking about both sides of the ball. We have never said that about Klay Thompson. I'm sorry, about Steph Curry.
Yeah, but Stephen A.,
we have said that about LeBron.
But at a certain point, Steph was so unstoppable. He won MVP of the league, and there was a sense maybe he is the best player in the world. You and I disagree about that.
We're talking about him as an offensive player, but I'm saying both ends of the floor. He was never in that discussion.
And then LeBron, yes, he was. No, not on the defensive discussion, but overall value. And then LeBron put an end to that. Look, you said that the road to prosperity is easier in the East. No way. I'd say Kawhi had a not just a little bit tougher road, a much tougher road to the finals than the Warriors. The Warriors had to play a Rockets team that wasn't the same, where Harden and CP3 both choked and got it done in 6 games, right? And by the way, yes, they started playing better without KD, but they had KD for a lot of that series. Excuse me, Kawhi Leonard, without another really surefire all-star, there's no one on that team he can rely on. Siakam sometimes, Lowry sometimes, but no Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green, no even Iguodala, who's been a Finals MVP, to help him out, let alone KD. Kawhi Leonard went through the 76ers and then through the Milwaukee Bucks, through Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and then the Greek Freak. They have had the tougher road to the finals than the Warriors.
Are you okay? Do you need more Advil? You're good?
I actually do. Y'all can clap all y'all want to. I don't give a damn. He's wrong. The fact of the matter is this. On religious occasions, we've talked about the West being tougher than the East. On religious occasions, we've talked about the best player in the world, and the conversation has not included Steph Curry. On religious occasions, you yourself personally have brought up defense. A matter of fact, you used that to make the case about Kawhi over KD. And so as a result of that, now we're going to ignore it? Now you can choose your argument any way you want to. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter we have ever seen. He has never been accused of being an elite defender. He has never been in that conversation. I know as an offensive player, there was a conversation, but as an all-around player, in terms of his overall impact, he has never been in that conversation. So as we sit here today talk about Kawhi Leonard, you brought up winning and its importance. The San Antonio Spurs have been in the postseason 22 consecutive years.
But there was one point on that. Remember he said they mishandled his injury.
I know that,
but bad blood.
I'm only going by what you said just now a few minutes ago when Amari said. You talked about the importance of winning. I'm saying San Antonio was going to the postseason 22 consecutive years. He knew he wasn't going to win in San Antonio because you had to go through the Golden State Warriors. He comes to the Eastern Conference via trade, no doubt, not his call. But in the end, when we look at Philadelphia, we've questioned Brett Brown. We've questioned Ben Simmons. We've questioned J.J. Redick. That was Max, not me. We found out that Milwaukee, outside of the Greek Freak, didn't have any playmakers. Don't get me started with Orlando and their young, wet behind the ears, breasts smelling like Similac cells. So the bottom line is, when you look at the road to prosperity in the Eastern Conference, don't tell me that it's comparable to the West.
It was this season, which is Kawhi's first in the East, it was clearly harder than the West. Kawhi had to get by better teams in the East than Steph had to get by in the West. That's one. Two, you bring up Steph Curry.
False.
You bring up Steph Curry. You bring up Steph Curry is never in the conversation for the best player in basketball. You realize when you win MVP, what the league is saying is during the regular season, you were the best player in basketball. That's why James Harden is in those conversations.
According to you, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with James Harden, and it never matters.
Right. I need to see you do it. I need to see you do it when it counts. And what we've seen from Kawhi is he does it always when it counts the most. He's as good as anyone when it doesn't matter as much, and when it matters the most, he's better.
So if he doesn't do it, it doesn't matter. Then based on what you're saying, all right, then why would you come back and say if he doesn't, he has less to lose than Steph?
Why does he have less to lose than Steph?
Well, you just explained.
Because how many future Hall of Famers is Kawhi playing with right now versus Steph? Even right now, Steph's got 2 Hall of Famers on his roster. 2 of them. Right now, by the way, in their primes. Who does Kawhi have? And yet I'm still picking Kawhi because I think he's that much better than anyone else in the series.
You're picking Kawhi, but in the event that you're wrong about Kawhi, it's not that big of a deal because of who he's playing with. Congratulations.
Right. I'm saying Kawhi can overcome the fact that he doesn't have another consistent all-star on the roster.
But if he doesn't, it's not that big of a deal.
Not as big as Steph. Steph is celebrated.
Can I get some popcorn? It's just getting good. The show's about to be over. I got a question for you, though. You don't think the East is as tough as the West this year?
No.
Really?
No. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If LeBron and the Lakers were in the Eastern Conference, even with the 17 games missed, do they make the playoffs?
Make the playoffs, not the same thing as get to the finals.
They make the playoffs. I'm just talking about making the playoffs.
Stephen A., the West is deeper, but among the elite teams, it's not better. The Sixers, followed by the Bucks, was the toughest road to the finals this year.
If you watch the games during the playoffs, you wouldn't feel that way.